All right, so I'm going to run through a quick version of this assignment while explaining a few options as well as going over the 5 criteria. I am going to start off by doing an extrusion. You do not have to do this. There's multiple ways of working and finishing this assignment. Let's see, I'll do something along this line, and I want to make sure that it's a closed polyline. So when I extrude this, and I have solid equals yes turned on, I actually end off with a solid object. And I can double check this by selecting the object, going to properties, and if it says that it's a closed extrusion, then you did it correctly. If it says that it's an open extrusion, that means the original line, the original curve you started off with, I'll just move this out of the way. It means the original curve you started off with is not closed. You probably didn't make your last snap on the endpoint. So again, just make sure that it's closed so that when you select it, it says closed extrusion. So I'll start off with this. So one of the criteria is for no single or simple extrusions, and that's what this is. So I cannot turn this in because it's just a single simple extrusion. So I have to do more to this. One of the other criteria, though, is that it has to have at least 2 of the angles have to be something other than 90 degrees. I've met that multiple times, so I'm good there. There's no curvature. Criteria number 4, there's no curvature. All the faces and surfaces must be planar and flat. Perfect, there's no curvature. Everything is planar and flat. So I still need to modify this a little bit because it cannot be a simple extrusion. So let's see, let's just change this a little bit. I also don't know if I have more than 9 faces. Let me delete this. All right, so I'm going to make one change. I'm going to make a large box at the top. Just going to use my gumball to move this over. And I'm just going to eyeball this. I want to make sure the entire thing is covered. I'm going to rotate this some distance. There you go. The entire thing is covered, so I'm going to use a Boolean difference command. All right, so now it's no longer a simple extrusion, so I can use this as is if I wanted to. I'm going to do one more change to it just to modify it just a little bit. Again, I'm going to use the I'm going to use another box, but this time instead of rotating the box using the gumball, I'm going to use a slightly different command. First, I'm going to you're going to use the orient command. And just click 2 points. And I'm going to orientate it along these 2 points. And then what I want to do is I want to use rotate 3D because I want to rotate this object, but I don't want to rotate it with the gumball. So I want to rotate it in a very specific area. So the difference between rotate and rotate 3D is with rotate, you need a single point. With rotate 3D, I'm going to right click. With rotate 3D, I need 2 points. I need an axis. So if I look at my command line, it says start of rotation axes. Go there and there, end of rotation axes. And then I'm just going to click somewhere off to the side over here. If you have ortho turned on, I would recommend you turn it off, because if not, it's going to snap every 90 degrees. And here I have much more control of how this thing is being rotated. So I'm going to rotate it some angle there, for example. And I'm rotating it along that crease. So now if I use a Boolean difference, I clicked them in the wrong order. Yeah, Boolean difference. There you go. There you go, that's better. So if I were to count up the sides that I have 9 sides. Perfect, so that fits that criteria. I have my angles are other than 90 degrees, so that fits that criteria. So your object must be displayed or oriented in 3 different ways. So okay, let's just make sure that's going to work. So I have it can be displayed in this direction. I've designed it where it could also be displayed in a different direction. I'm going to use Orient 3D. Or sorry, Orient 3 point, sorry. I'm going to select these 3 points. I'm going to copy it and click 3 points on my grid. And just be careful where your third one is so your object doesn't go upside down. That's my third point. So it could also be displayed that way. And it could also be displayed, try that orient one more time, orient 3 point. And 3 points on the grid. So it can be displayed in that orientation as well. So now I fit that criteria, which is the third criteria. So the object must be displayed in 3 different ways. So that fits that criteria. So I fit all 5 criteria with this one design. So now I just want to make sure that it's ready for laser cutting. So I'm just going to unroll one of these objects. So there's the unrolled object. I'm going to either use duplicate border or duplicate edge, whichever one, depending on how you unroll this, right? So I have these, and again, just make sure that these are in the correct layer with the correct color. And put these in change object layer. Okay, so now they're in there. And I just want to make sure that this is on the correct sheet. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to take this and this one, for example, and I'm going to copy it. So just go to Control-C or Command-Z, copy. Make sure you open up the correct laser cutting file, because this is the file that you're going to need for laser cutting. And I'm just going to paste this in here. Control C or Command C. Control V or Command V. All right, so now I have my objects pasted in here. They are in the cut layer. They're cyan. And now I just need to make sure I have my 18 by 32 sheet. I want to make sure I have the correct 18 by 32 sheet. I want to have the one that says 1:1, not this one, because this is 1 inch equals 1 foot, so this is incorrect. I want to zoom in to the one that's even smaller. Down here that says scale 1 equals 1. So I have this. I'm going to select it, copy it from this endpoint, and zoom out and go all the way to the endpoint of that ginormous red arrow. And zoom in over here. And it snapped. Perfect. So one thing that I noticed is my pieces, I can only laser cut one sheet of 18 by 32, and these pieces are way too big. That's okay. I didn't give a size specification. So if I wanted to, I'm just going to scale down the pieces with the 3D model, just so that they all stay the same size. Scale. Scale this down quite a bit, so just enough where I know all my pieces are going to fit, and I can start moving these pieces onto the sheet. Once you have your pieces moved onto the sheet, if you need to make them scale it again to either make them larger or smaller, that's fine. You're more than welcome to. Looks like I might have to scale these again. Let me just double check. I might scale these down just for the sake of doing this a little bit faster. I might be able to get this to work, but it might take some time to get all these pieces on here. So just for the sake of time, I'm going to scale these down one more time. I'm going to move this, and I'm just going to select these pieces. I don't want to select the sheet because I don't want to move that. Definitely don't want to scale it. So, wrong command. Scale 3D. Scale. It might be a little. That might work a little bit better. Let's see. And I get those pieces. Let's see if I can get this piece. I'll just use orient. Move these two pieces. And then just get these last two pieces on here. Just make sure that there's enough of a gap. And all my pieces fit on one 18 by 32. So this is ready to go. And then the last thing, obviously, is just to have a screenshot. So if I want, I'm just going to do a screenshot of, I just want just this one object, just one orientation. So I'm going to take this and just move this off to the side, just so I can have a screenshot of this. So I'll take one screenshot from one angle, a different screenshot from a different angle, and then a screenshot of this just in top view. And I fit all the criteria. I have the screenshots, and I can have this file ready for laser cutting.